Well, good day, ladies and gentlemen. How the hell are you all doing today? I hope you're doing all well, and I hope you're staying toasty fucking warm as per usual. I'm freezing my nuts off. I've got a number of layers on. My candle's on its last legs before she goes out. But I'm trying to keep this little space as warm as humanly possible. So I hope you got them beers. I hope you got them hot coffees. We're going to sit down. We're going to shoot the shit for the next little while because I've got some rants for you, folks. I've got some good rants. And I apologize in advance because a lot of people like my, happy-go-lucky stories. I do have a happy-go-lucky story for you in today's episode, but I also have a lot of shit to cover and a lot of people to tell off. So, without further ado, let's jump into it. But as you know, I gotta say, once again, you guys kick fucking ass. Thank you so much for your continued support, whether it's through Spotify or Apple or Google or going over to YouTube and watching it. One of my best friends said that he actually prefers watching it on YouTube while he's cooking and shit like that because he gets to see like the expression and I guess the real-time reactions while I'm talking. So to each their own, man. Whatever you decide to listen to this on, it's all good. But don't forget to follow and subscribe. And of course, hit that notification bell for every random episode that happens to come out. Now, without further ado, I've got some bones to pick. And I'm going to do it here today with you. So let's get into it.
I'm living in a van playing outlaw tunes. Live with Johnny Nocash. Smoking them smokes and drinking that booze. Live with Johnny Nocash. Where I go, how the fuck don't know. I'm off the grid on dusty roads. There ain't no better way of eating beans.
All right. So I am currently literally on the side of the fucking road. And what do I mean by that? But I'm literally on a shoulder off the side of a street. I've been here just for one night. I decided to park here last night. It's not a great place. I mean, there's no privacy. It's real fucking loud. And of course, the neighbors across the street clearly don't like me here. They've been shooting me nasty looks the moment I drove onto this street. I think they knew. They're like, he's going to park on the side. Well, you're right. I fucking did. So I'm on the side of the street here in Colwood, just outside of Victoria. And if you've been keeping up to date with these podcasts, you're probably asking yourself, why the fuck is he on the side of a road rather than at the lagoon? Well, this is where the episode starts. I was at the lagoon, of course. It's like the best place to fucking park. It's like it's a 1.5 mile stretch of just parking. That's it. They've got outhouses, garbages lined up the entire length of this lagoon. It's just beautiful. It's great. It's quiet. It's very kind of, even though it's kind of in the city, it reminds you that you're slightly out of the city. I don't know what it is, but it's just this great spot. Everyone's down there. They're jogging. They're walking their dogs. They're bringing their kids. It's just a really great place. And there's no signs. There's no fucking signs about anything, and that's why not only myself, but so many RVers and van lifers and people that may have lost their fucking homes due to inflation. Nobody can afford to fucking get an apartment anymore. So a lot of people are buying van or just sleeping in their car. So where do you go? Where do you go and why is people enforcing restrictions? Right? So what I'm getting at here, folks, is I got the boot. I got the fucking boot from the lagoon. I woke up one morning, couldn't fucking believe it. There's a goddamn notice. Here it is. If you're watching, here it is right here. Final fucking notice, which makes no goddamn sense to me because this is the first notice I've received, saying that I can't be there after dark. From dusk till dawn, nobody is allowed to park there overnight. And here's my question. Why? Why can't people park there, folks of fucking Colwood? What's the damage? What are we doing to the point where you need to go back to your fucking office and type up this little memo, drive back to my vehicle, highlight the specific code, and then put it under my windshield? What the fuck are we doing? Nobody's leaving garbage out. Nobody's cranking tunes. Nobody's got their tents set up, or nobody's have a fire. There's not a shopping cart full of soiled pants and soiled clothes. Why are you doing this? What do you gain by shoving somebody off like this? It's not like there's a business there. There's nothing there. That's the other thing too, guys. I really want to kind of paint the picture of this location. There is nothing there. There is no kiosks. There's no food trucks. There's no structure whatsoever that's selling anything that might, deter from their business. Nothing whatsoever. So my question is why? What is with people these days, man? Honestly. Just enforcing these fucking rules upon us constantly. I am so bummed out about this whole thing. There's not a lot of places to park in Victoria, overnight. This was totally out of the way. This wasn't in a residential area where, some families might be like, why is this van been parked there for 2 days? I don't want that there. I'm going to call the cops. I can understand that. But when you're in the middle of fucking nowhere, what is the problem? I'm just getting real fucking tired with humanity, man. And these restrictions and rules and regulations and bosses. Just forcing this shit down our throat. And especially right now, fucking lockdown. We've all had to stay inside for 2 fucking years, and the moment that restrictions are lifted, gas prices go through the fucking roof and nobody can go out anyway. You can't afford it. You can't afford to go on a drive. You can't afford to go up fucking island or over to the mainland. This is unreal, guys. I don't know. I could go on and on about this because this is unjust. This is against humanity. A lot of people like myself, they don't have a home, and they're always on the lookout to find a place that's safe and accessible to sleep just for the night. I'll tell you right now, man, people living in their vans are doing a hell of a lot better for the environment than people living in homes. So why are we getting punished for this? Well, you want to fucking rent? You want to charge rent? Oh, man. Anyway, so I got the boot, and I was, like I said, super down and out. I couldn't believe it, especially because it was my only notice, but yet they say final notice. I mean, that's the thing. I would have pushed it even further if I could have, but the last thing that I want is a ticket. I can't afford a ticket, and even if it is $20 or whatever, at that point, you just go to a parking lot. But it's real unfortunate. So let me know, I don't know about you guys. I don't know if you guys are living on the road. I don't know if you guys live in a small town where you notice van lifers just kind of camping out. Is this a problem? Do you guys not like people camping, or does it offend you? I need to know this shit because to me it makes no fucking sense. And if anybody has any kind of insight on this, I would love to know. When you see a camper in a parking lot for a couple days, does that piss you off? Does that ruin your day? I gotta know. I really gotta know, because I don't give nearly as much of a fuck about what other people do as clearly these people. I don't know. It's just something that's been on my mind. I think I got the boot from the lagoon about three days ago. And ever since, it's just been just constantly been tugging away at me, wondering, what's the reason. So that's real unfortunate. So that is why I am currently on the side of a road, just off on the shoulder, because I don't really know of too many other spots. I do know of one neat little nook that's not too far from where I am right now. However, it's a real popular dog walking area. And when I slept there the other night, I just noticed at 6 a.m. the cars were just rolling in, and it was just a little bit invasive. So I just said, you know what, maybe on a weekday it would be a good spot to camp or stay here. But on a weekend, it was just way too busy. So I decided to take my chances on the side of the road. And it's funny, folks, because since I've been back in Victoria, Second of all, if you are watching this, you're probably wondering why I'm speaking into a toilet paper roll. Well, my condenser mic was giving me problems all morning while I was trying to record this episode, and I did like an Instagram story asking anybody that, you know, kind of knows about this shit what it could be, and most of the people that got back to me were saying it's either the cable itself or the mic. And so I just swapped the mic out to this. This is the old mic I used to use while I was playing shows. And I just stuck it inside a fucking toilet paper roll, wedged it into the mic stand. Boom. Fucking gold. You know, a lot of people have these professional over budget podcasts. Not me. Nope. I'm doing shit as fucking DIY as humanly possible. So, yeah, I forgot to mention that right off the top. So if you're watching this, you're like, what the fuck is he talking into? I mean, it looks kind of funny. So, yeah, you just got to make do with what you got, folks. You know, life ain't so fucking bad. You just got to figure it out. And, you know, the problem will go away eventually. And that is the same thing with the lagoon. You know, I'm sure in a couple days I'll forget all about it. But it's just one of those things that it was really bugging me. And I mean, I've been in Victoria now for a few days. Since the last episode, which was I was in Nanaimo, or just outside of Nanaimo, I believe, at the terminal, ripping it up at the terminal. You guys had some funny comments regarding that episode, so thank you about that. Yeah, the terminal was a fucking great time. Shit show. Complete shit show, but I loved it. Loved everything about it. So after Nanaimo, I decided I had to get the fuck out of there. You know, it was way too much time in a city. I was spending too much money, of course, at the bar. Even though it was cheap as all hell, you're still spending money that I normally wouldn't be spending money on, right? Like, especially drinks and shit like that. I just buy myself a 60-pounder of either whiskey or vodka, and then that's all I have to spend. Whereas if you're at a bar, you know, people get around, and then you feel obligated to get around too, and it's just like, fuck, man, I ain't built for this. So after I left Nanaimo, I drove through Ladysmith. Now, I understand that a lot of people that are listening to this probably have no idea, like, of any of the places that I'm describing. So I'll just try and give you a little bit of a description. So Ladysmith is just a small little town. It's kind of like a nice little quirky town in between Victoria and Nanaimo. And I went up this mountain and I found a number of very nice locals, and they're on horses. It's like going back in fucking time. There's 3 women fucking trotting along on their fucking horses, and I was doing some work on the van. I was fixing my headlights, because as you know, my headlights have been an issue for a while. So I was doing some work on the van, and these fucking women show up on horses, and we just start shooting the shit. And they tell me about this suspension bridge. Now, I hate heights. But I'm there, and they're like, oh, it's only about a 10-minute walk. You just go through this way, that way. And, you know, and there are gates, so make sure that your car or whatever you're driving is out of here by a certain time. And I end up going and finding this suspension bridge. And again, like that, this is one of the greatest things about living on the road. Is sure, you got shitty things happening all the time, but you also have these really incredible things happening all the time. Like some of the things I've seen in the last year with my own eyes and not on a fucking computer screen have just been monumental. You know, there's some people go their entire lives without seeing some of the things that you see while you're out and exploring and enjoying this incredible planet that we live on, that we take for fucking granted, mind you. And I'm on this suspension bridge, and it was just like fear and freedom all at the same time. Like, it's a rickety fucking, like, I'm scared. You know, I'm not liking this, but when am I going to have a chance to walk on a suspension bridge again? I mean, I'm sure the chances are higher, but at the same time, you don't just come across these things. So I soaked it up. I enjoyed myself there. I cleaned the van. I went back to the van. I just did a huge kind of like reset of the van. It was getting pretty dirty, I'll tell you that much. It was it's a white van and it was gray at this point. So I said, the hell with it. I'm just going to fucking take some water and a rag and give her a good old scrub. So after I finished this, I was like, what if I just continue up the mountain? Because it's a gorgeous, gorgeous place. I didn't see a lot of traffic either. Now, I did know that as the ladies on horseback were saying, they do lock the gates at night and open them up in the morning. So if there was a problem, like no access is coming in and out. Like say you break your leg or some shit, like you're fucked, right? So, I mean, you just got to take the risk and you're like, I'm not going to break my leg. I'm just going to go up the mountain and I'm going to find a spot. And I'll tell you, I found this fucking beautiful spot. Just on this little like plateaus type area. It was basically a dead end, big wide open place too. And I did want to have a fire up there, but again, because I was warned about the gates being shut, I wasn't sure if this was actually a private property or what. So as far as the fire was concerned, I was being a little bit cautious about that. And this is just a good opportunity for me to use the isolation to finish up the vocals for this new single that's coming out. So I'm there, hanging out, not a fucking soul, right? Like you could just be screaming bloody murder, nobody would hear you. And all of a sudden, this fucking truck comes out of nowhere, and it's the tree cops. I'm like, okay. Am I getting the fucking boot from here now? So I'm sitting in my van and all I hear is, hello, come on out here right now. Come on out. I know you're in there. And I'm like, fuck, man. Good thing I wasn't taking a shit. So I fucking get out. I'm like, what's going on? Like, what the fuck's going on? He's like, what are you doing up here? And he's got a body cam on him too. Like he's filming the whole thing. He's keeping his distance. And I'm like, nothing. Like, what do you mean? What am I doing? I'm just fucking playing some music. And he's like, oh, okay, well, you're not doing anything illegal? And I'm like what? Like, I'm fucking smoking joints and drinking and shit. But I mean, like, what the fuck do you mean? And he's like, no, just want to know if you're doing anything. And I probably shouldn't have said this, but I made a joke about, oh, no, I buried the bodies down another fucking logging road or something along those lines. And the look on his face was he wasn't laughing. He didn't find that funny. I mean, I thought it was funny. But anyway, I asked him at that point, I was like, well, do I have to leave? Can I stay here? Like, what's the rule? What are you doing? Like, why are you so concerned? And he was like, no, I just wanted to make sure you weren't doing anything illegal. And yes, you can stay here. Don't worry about it. And like, this is what's cool about these people, unlike the fuckers at the lagoon, saying, yeah, like, I don't see why not. Yeah, sure. Fucking stay here as long as you want. So I did. And I stayed there, and I was a little shooken up because, again, I hadn't seen anybody since I had been up there. Nobody whatsoever gave a fuck that I was there. And then this tree cop came out of nowhere. And whether he had followed me or somebody had maybe reported that, this van was going up this one side road, I have no idea. But he came to check up on me. And the reason why I'm telling you this is because there's an important payoff here. So later, not that night, the next night, I went into town, I got some supplies, got all my shit, and I came back to the spot. I'm doing my thing, and a new truck shows up. And it actually goes, like, this is a dead end, folks. There is no road beyond where I'm parked. There's like an ATV trail type thing. And this truck just keeps fucking driving, like right in on the fucking ATV trail into the woods. And I'm like, okay, that's a little odd. And this truck just fucking stays out there, lights on, revving its engine for like 30 fucking minutes. No word of a lie. I'm not even exaggerating. It was about 30 minutes, just constantly revving. And I wasn't sure if this was some kind of masculinity fucking contest or some shit like this. Like, what the fuck is this all about, dude? Like, what's your problem? And I poked my head out. and I see the lights. And you got to remember, like, this is in the middle of nowhere, pitch black dark. I am not a local. I don't know who could be out there. And, you know, a lot of people, you got to also take into consideration that this lifestyle potentially is quite dangerous. You know, it doesn't take a fool to know that anybody could knock on the door, you know, pull a gun out and be like, hey, bud, give me your keys, you know? Yeah, and like that's possible, right? And you're off the grid. Nobody's going to find you. So I poke my head out the door, looking at this guy, like wondering what the fuck is going on. And I see that his truck is rocking back and forth. And I'm like, oh, for Christ's sakes, this is not a dick measuring contest. He's stuck. So I grabbed my shovel, I grabbed my hatchet, and that must have been fucking scary watching me walking up to this, to this fucking truck. Nobody knew, like, you know, nobody was expecting me to come out of the woods. And I got my fucking axe and my shovel. I'm wearing an oversized jacket, so I just look like this burly fucking, like, you know, fucking Neanderthal. And, man, these were the youngest kids. They must have just got their fucking license. Like, they were kids. This dude, like, he must have been 17 or some shit, and he was there with his girlfriend and one of their other friends, and this poor sucker fucking drove his truck right over a massive stump and lodged his entire truck. Basically, it was like kind of speared and being held up by this fucking stump. Oh, man, what a nightmare. Poor kid. Of course, he's losing his fucking mind. He's like, I don't know what the fuck, you know, like, and the girls aren't doing anything. They're just sitting in like chatting on their phone while he's trying to fucking pull this damn truck out, come up with ideas of what maybe he could do. And so anyway, I come over, we start digging. We start trying to figure out a way of getting him off, and he was so grateful. Like, this kid, I'm sure at first he was terrified that, you know, somebody like me was coming out of the woods with a fucking axe coming at them. But, you know, once we started talking, it was very clear that I was here to help. And he was able to jack the truck up enough that we could build a bit of a bridge over the stump itself. So when he cranked the wheel, he was able to kind of like drive over the stump. And this took, Christ, I'll tell you, like, we were out there, and luckily it wasn't super cold. Luckily it was still a fairly mild evening. And we were able to build this bridge, hoist the truck up enough, and then push the fucker out. Actually, the girls did come out. I'll give them credit for that. They came out, and we all fucking pushed this fucker off, and he was off and ready to fucking go. And man, he was just like, you know, thank you so much for your help. You know, we would have been screwed. We would have had to sleep in the truck tonight. We don't have blankets and things like that. And I just said, yeah, of course, like, it's karma, man. It's just the way it goes, you know, like when you're off the fucking beaten path and somebody's got like a flat, or, you know, you see somebody's hood is up and you have maybe some material to help out, you fucking pull over. You help the person out as best you can anyway, or at the very least, you just see if they're okay. They might not have a cell phone, or it might be dead, and at least you can add some kind of, you know, help into them. And that's something that's very important. So anyway, I go back to the van. The fucking truck is still there, still revving away. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on? So I yell out, and I'm like, what's going on, guys? Like, what's the hold up? His fucking battery died. Oh, man. So luckily, I have a battery charger that I bought at Canadian Tire for like $130. Best fucking investment I have. I've helped boost so many cars and trucks since I've been on the road with this little fucker. It has just been an absolute lifesaver. So here I come, and at this point, I'm like, all right, kids. I'm like, I think you owe me a drink, because I knew they had some either pot or fucking booze on them. What the hell are they doing out there? And of course they did. Of course they had booze. And I was like, well, you know, I think this calls for a real hefty drink there, folks. Oh yeah, no problem at all. Fucking give you a huge fucking drink, you know. And I'm like, you damn fucking Skippy you are. So we boost the truck. He ends up coming down. Of course, his battery's fine at this point, and he starts pulling out these pallets out the back and dumping fucking oil and gas on them and just lit them right up. And here I was thinking that I had this real quiet spot all to myself. And the next thing you know, I'm out in the fucking mud digging this truck out, boosting his battery, and now we're having a fucking pallet fire, drinking his booze. It was just great. A real nice turn of events, from the tree cop guy kind of shaking me up a little bit, and then, thinking that maybe this guy was, who knows. And the reason why I mentioned the tree cop and why he was wondering, if I was doing anything illegal, apparently, on that same mountain, the week before, some young kid was deliberately shot off of his dirt bike by, I don't know if it's a hunter or a somebody who was just target practicing, but deliberately shot this young boy and killed him. And the reason why I know this is the kids told me, oh yeah, there's a kid that was killed up here last week, and somebody shot him right off his bike. And now it makes sense why this tree cop was so curious as to what I was doing, like if I was target practice, or maybe I'm not entirely sure what the outcome of that is. If they found the guy that did this, or they're still on the hunt for them, or what. And I was like, that's scary ass shit, man. And really unfortunate. Kid goes out to, rip it up on his dirt bike, and then just some random asshole decides to take a risk and say, I wonder if I could shoot this guy, and does, and kills him. So it makes a lot more sense now that this tree cop was concerned and looking out for the safety of me, and potentially just, could help prevent more fucking maniacs shooting guns in the middle of fucking nowhere. And I gotta say, this was a ATV dirt bike type area. I heard them all day during the day. They were just constantly ripping it up. And it was just, so he was doing his job. He did a good job, and he was a real nice fella. So, it was just, it's one thing. And the next day is when I decided, all right, I'd been on this mountain for 3 days at this point. It's time for me to move on and get closer to Victoria for the arrival of my crazy monkey vodka. And at this point, folks, I have to mention my batteries, which I got charged in Nanaimo, is no longer being charged. I've got some major van issues right now, and it really sucks. This is going to fuck me over. I have so many van issue problems right now. One is my main battery is not charging my secondary batteries while I drive. And in order for me to stay warm, I need power. And it's been overcast for the last week or so I haven't been collecting any solar energy to run my furnace. So it's chilly. It's fucking cold. I need this fixed big time. This is number one. Number two, my engine is not heating up at all. I have to fucking keep the van running for at least 30 minutes to get it to a point where I feel comfortable that I can drive it properly. I've driven this van on a cold engine, and it ain't good. It ain't good. I could tell, man. It was acting and sounding weird. The only time I did feel comfortable, I just cranked the fucking heat and try and get the interior going, trying to get it heated up to a point where I feel comfortable I can drive. So that's another huge issue, big issue. This is the mechanics of my home that needs to be fixed. And third, I know I've mentioned my power steering in the past. It's bad now. It is really bad. I'm having to refill my power steering every 2 days at this point. Anytime I park, it's just gushing out. It's not good. And, I got to get somebody to look at it. It's just been one thing after another. And it's starting to weigh on me because, come spring and fall, I'm going to be driving a lot more. Even if gas prices are, skyrocketing, I'm just going to be driving a lot more. And I need to make sure that not only my vehicle, but my house is in good working order. So I have an appointment tomorrow with a mechanic to have a look at it. He doesn't know if he can do anything about the battery issue, because there could be a ton of different reasons why it's not being charged. And of course, the wiring goes through the panels of my walls, and I'm not sure what kind of fucking problem this is. This could be a very, very big problem for me. So hopefully, fingers crossed, it ain't so bad. Hopefully it's a real easy fix. With the amount of bad luck I've been happening, I fucking hope it is an easy fix, and I hope it's cheap too. But it's just been one thing after another, and I gotta say, I'm not complaining. I'm not. I'm just saying it sucks, it's real too bad that I can't be hanging out at the lagoon. It sucks that I'm going to have to, have this van looked at inside and out and a ton of work done. As y'all know, like, fucking mechanics ain't cheap. And, but this needs to be done. So that's where I'm at, ladies and gentlemen. It's been an interesting one, I'll tell you, and right now I'm just hanging out on the shoulder. I'm going to try and cook up some food here in a bit. Unfortunately, my window is facing the houses, so anybody can see a big fucking puff of smoke coming out. It's brutal. But I'm going to get onto this here very shortly and just try and enjoy the day as best as I can. But thank you once again, ladies and gentlemen, for your time today. And for everybody who has made it this far, thank you. I understand it's hard to get through, a 30 or 40 minute podcast every once in a while. But I do want to say, for the people that made it, cheers to you guys. You guys rock. I really do appreciate it. And of course, once again, don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment, all that shit. You can always head on over if you want to support me and the show. Oh, there's the light. If you want to support me and the show, you can always go over to buymeacoffee.com/johnnynocashofficial and buy me a beer or two, or however much that you would like to support this. That would be greatly appreciated. Also, if you want to get some dusty ass merch, some Johnny No Cash shit, you can always go over to johnnynocashofficial.bandcamp.com. I've got t-shirts, shot glasses, I've got bandanas, all sorts of things over there if you do want some merch as well as support this content. So thank you all so much once again for sticking with me. I really do appreciate it. And until next time, I'll see you around. You better stay dusty. I'm out.
I'm living in a van playing outlaw tunes. Live with Johnny No Cash. Smoking them smokes and drinking that booze. Live with Johnny No Cash. Where I go, how the fuck I'll know I'm off the grid on dusty roads. There ain't no better way of eating beer.